What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into DLF. I am your host, Justin. Today, we are talking trade targets. We got three guys, and honestly, I want all three of them in redraft. I want all three in Dynasty. So it's not a one or the other type video. I want these three guys, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, Travis Etienne, in every single league I can get my hands on them. And I'll tell you why in just a second. Before we do, again, if you like what we're doing, guys, right, subscribe to the channel. Like the video, questions, comments, drop it down below. You know the drill. Let's get into it. First one on the list, it is none other than CeeDee Lamb. Now, obviously, right, you want him in Dynasty. He's a high-profile, young, ascending wide receiver. I don't think that's a question. We know the reasons there. The reason why I'm particularly interested in redraft is, well, one, he's coming off of 2 down games. That's fine, right? That is a small window, if you will, to buy a potentially game-changing player. And the other is Dak Prescott's coming back, right? We just saw how bad Cooper Rush was on Sunday Night Football. It was out there for the entire world to see. He looked like a backup, and that's fine because that's probably what Cooper Rush is for the rest of his career. That's not a knock, right? He's still in the NFL. That's great. But Dak Prescott is undoubtedly an upgrade for CeeDee Lamb. I don't care what Twitter says, like, oh, keep Cooper Rush. No, don't do that. Dak Prescott is better for CeeDee Lamb. That's not a question. That is a known fact. I don't care what anybody says. Dak is going to bring this offense kind of back to a potentially high-powered nature, and that's what you want for CeeDee Lamb. You know, more red zone chances, more deep shots. Those types of things are what make CeeDee Lamb great. And when you factor in the type of volume he's currently been seeing, right, 10-plus targets in 4 out of 6 games, you're looking at a 33.3% target share. That is top in the NFL. Quite literally no wide receiver is seeing a higher percentage of their team's targets than CeeDee Lamb. He has proven he can earn targets at a high clip, right? Michael Gallup is hobbled. Jalen Tolbert, I don't understand it, but Jalen Tolbert is an unmitigated bust, right? Can't even get on the field. Noah Brown is solid, fine, whatever. CeeDee Lamb's the guy. He is a great talent. We saw him put up back-to-back 20-point games with Cooper Rush. These types of outcomes, those game-winning weeks, are well within his wheelhouse. And when you bring back Dak Prescott, you put him back into the mix, it's only going to get better, right? He may not see an uptick in targets. I don't expect him to. But that's fine because the target quality is going to get better. CeeDee Lamb is a wide receiver 1. You can get him for cheaper. I know that because I've traded for him. Like, I have gone out and traded for CeeDee Lamb. I've traded for him and Travis Etienne, and I gave up Dalvin Cook. And I am more than okay with that because I think Dalvin Cook's a trade away target, if you will. Go watch last week 6, moves to make. I want Dalvin Cook off my roster so I can get a wide receiver 1 in CeeDee Lamb and an ascending running back in Travis Etienne, who we're going to talk about here in a minute. I'm all in on that deal. Moving on to our next wide receiver. It is Chris Godwin. And I know you're probably thinking, well, Chris Godwin hasn't been great this year, right? He's been perfectly average. He's basically been just a wide receiver 2. And that's true. Like, he hasn't been anything special. However, he's getting healthy, right? He gets hurt week 1. He comes back, has a full complement of snaps. His first game, sees 10 targets. Great. The next week, right, he only plays about 50% of snaps, sees a limited number of targets, and we can basically chalk that up to he's healthy, but it was a blowout, so why risk it, right? I mean, you're still in that window where he can seriously re-injure himself. So they didn't risk it. And then this following week 6, you see 12 targets. You see 95 yards. The big games are coming, right? Like, it is going to happen for Chris Godwin. He's going to eclipse 100 yards at some point. He's going to score touchdowns. That stuff just happens when you're playing with Tom Brady and you're healthy. Chris Godwin is the perfect buy low because we know the talent, we know the quarterback, we know the situation, we know the volume. All of those things are there for Chris Godwin to have a monster season. Like, that is still in the range of outcomes. He can still very much be a top 12 wide receiver the rest of the year. If he's going to see the type of volume, which is 10-plus targets in 2 out of 3 games, I want him on my rosters because the upside is immense. The volume is safe. He's a high floor, high ceiling player, and you can get him for a lot cheaper right now. And when you just look at the schedule coming up, you want to pinpoint his potential breakout game, Carolina. Great opportunity to do it there. Baltimore has not been fantastic against wide receivers, so there's capability there in a shootout. And then the Rams. Jalen Ramsey is probably going to live in the slot, cover a lot of Mike Evans potentially. That should leave space for Chris Godwin to operate. He has 3 good opportunities to find the end zone, to have monster 20-plus point games over the next 3 weeks. And then honestly, he gets to the playoffs and everything else. He gets Carolina in the finals. That's way down the road. But again, it's enticing. It's interesting. So Chris Godwin should be on your radar. Give up an RB2 for him. I'm happy to do that. Like, give up Brian Robinson and a Brandon Ayuk or a downgrade at wide receiver. Make that move. Go get Chris Godwin in redraft and in Dynasty right now. And moving to our last player here. I mentioned him up top. I mentioned him in the CeeDee Lamb video. It is Travis Etienne, and I am still in on Travis Etienne. I think you should be. The Jags are starting to be. Etienne is going to take this backfield, and that does not mean James Robinson disappears. He's going to have a role. That's a guarantee. But Etienne is going to start earning more than the 12 to 15 opportunities a game, and that's because he's just been better than James Robinson lately. And again, early in the season, no, that was not the case. It was Robinson's backfield. He's come back to earth. The consistency is not there for him. He looks like a guy coming off an Achilles injury. And now you have Travis Etienne, who just looks explosive. He looks fast. He's dynamic. There's a lot of things to like there. And the Jags are seeing it too, right? James Robinson's snaps continue to fall every single week, basically. Etienne's continue to rise. He's outsnapped and outgained, outproduced James Robinson each of the last 2 weeks. And if you're thinking, well, he hasn't really done anything with that. Yes and no, right? He's gained a ton of yards. He's broken a lot of big plays. He's been caught before the end zone. The yardage is there. He just has yet to find the end zone for that true breakout game. But even without a touchdown in the last 2 weeks, he has been an RB2 each of the last 2 weeks, right? RB22, RB18, depending on your scoring the last 2 weeks. The big games are coming, right? These are the type of buy lows. You don't want to wait for him to score 20 points and a touchdown because then you're buying high. Like right now, the usage is building. It is getting there, right? He's seeing targets. He had a carry inside the red zone, inside the 5 this week as well. The usage is coming. Get in now. Buy him off of the upset, disappointed person that drafted him because it's coming, right? It's building, it's building, it's building. I'm going to keep saying it every week until it's true, and then I'm right. But no, guys, really, the underlying metrics are there. It's trending in the direction we want. Give up Christian Kirk, right? He's been floundering lately. Maybe somebody thinks they're buying low on him as his role looks like it's changed. Do that. I'm happy to pull the trigger there. Travis Etienne is a guy I want in Dynasty especially, and absolutely in redraft. All right, guys, that is all we have for you. Again, if you like what we're doing, subscribe to the channel, like the video, questions, comments, you know the drill. Drop it in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.